The movie is set in a dystopian world where the sun never rises and it's always dark. A strange occurrence happens at exactly 12 o'clock every night as everyone in this world dies for 5 minutes and then wakes up with no memory of what happened. At the start of the movie, the protagonist, John Murdoch, awakens in a dark bathroom, terrified, with his ass out. He has no recollection of how he got there, what he was doing in the past weeks, or even his name. After getting dressed, he snoops around the place until he comes across a briefcase with the initials KH on it. Upon opening it, he finds a greeting card from a place known as Shell Beach. Murdoch can't exactly recall the place, but he starts getting fragments of memories about it. Just then, the telephone inside the bathroom starts ringing, and he picks it up hesitantly. On the other side, a man who calls himself Dr. Schreiber tells Murdoch that his memory was erased because of a failed experiment, and now some men are looking for him. This adds to the confusion that Murdoch is already experiencing, and before the doctor can say anything else, he hangs up. Following this, Murdoch proceeds to check out of the place, which turns out to be a hotel. As he is leaving, he comes across a lady's disfigured corpse. Seeing this, Murdoch becomes terrified and rushes out of his room and sees 3 abnormally tall, pale-faced individuals approaching him. When he reaches the lobby, he notices that everyone is asleep, even a woman inside the elevator. It's almost as if they have become lifeless. Just then, the clock strikes 12, and all the people come back to life again. Murdoch finds this very strange, and he leaves the hotel immediately. Shortly after, the mysterious men approach the hotel receptionist and ask him about Murdoch. When he fails to give an answer, they inject him with a strange substance and kill him. Elsewhere, a stage performer named Emma is contacted by Dr. Schreiber, who tells her to meet urgently. Here, we get to know that Emma is none other than Murdoch's wife. When the two meet, Dr. Schreiber mentions that Murdoch's memory has been totally wiped out, and some bad people are on the hunt for him. Hence, he asks her to contact him immediately if she meets Murdoch. Although confused, Emma agrees. In the next scene, local police, along with Inspector Bumstead, arrive at the crime scene in the hotel and start investigating. Turns out that it has been the 6th murder case in the last month, and all of them have the same spiral symbol drawn on them. Since Murdoch has been staying there, Inspector Bumstead immediately suspects him of the crime. He then calls Emma to the police station and warns her to turn her husband in, as he is a wanted criminal. Meanwhile, Murdoch is wandering around the city, confused and scared. As he reaches a place, he becomes uneasy and notices that his fingerprints are glowing. After a while, he finds himself in front of a Shell Beach advertisement board, the same one from the greeting card he found in the hotel suitcase. Curious, he climbs up the advertisement board, but suddenly, he is confronted by the 3 tall men from earlier, who call themselves the Strangers. One of them tries to use his powers on Murdoch to make him sleep, but it fails. This shocks the Strangers, but before they can comprehend anything, Murdoch uses his telekinetic powers and subdues the 3. Later, we are taken to the hideout of the Strangers, which turns out to be a large underground compound. Everyone is in shock that Murdoch possesses telekinetic powers like they do. Here, we get to know that Murdoch was part of an experiment called imprinting, but he somehow escaped by using his powers. Now, he has become a wanted man for the Strangers. On the other hand, Emma returns home from the police station and finds Murdoch waiting for her. Although he doesn't seem to remember her, he knows that he lives there, as the address was mentioned in his business card. Emma tries to ask Murdoch about where he was for the last 3 weeks, but the latter has no answer to this. Instead, he says that he didn't even know his name until he checked his wallet. As the two talk, Emma reveals that he has been suspected for the murder of 6 women. This shocks Murdoch, and he leaves the place immediately. Just before midnight, the strange men gather in their hideout for a meeting. Dr. Schreiber is the only human among the attendees, and it appears that he is the head of their science department. When the clock strikes exactly 12 p.m., the leader of the Strangers, Mr. Book, emerges from the crowd and instructs everyone to shut it down. As soon as he says this, the Strangers go into a meditation state, and the entire city above stops. People go to sleep, regardless of where they are. The trains come to a halt, and even all of traffic stops. Which is weird, you'd think someone would fall asleep with their foot on the gas, I don't know. Only Murdoch is unaffected by the strange process, and he wanders around the city in disbelief. He tries to wake some people up, but to no avail. Meanwhile, large buildings and other infrastructures begin rising through the underground, indicating that a massive change is taking place in the city. Then, the strangers, along with Dr. Schreiber, head into the city and begin a process called tuning. In this process, they approach several individuals in the city and inject them with a syringe so that their memory is wiped clean. After 5 minutes, when all the strangers have retreated to the underground, the city again comes back to life and everyone wakes up. However, this time, they have no recollection of their past life and have a completely new identity. For instance, someone who was a doctor 5 minutes ago may have now become a serial killer. After the tuning, the strangers again shift their focus towards Murdoch. Since it is proving difficult to catch him, Dr. Schreiber has prepared a syringe, which has all the subconscious memories of Murdoch stored in it. Now, all he has to do is inject it in someone, and they will be able to track Murdoch instantly. As everyone stares at him in confusion, one of the senior strangers, Mr. Hand, emerges from the crowd and agrees to volunteer. The leader, Mr. Book, gives the heads up, and soon, Mr. Hand is injected with the strange liquid. After convulsing for a while, he finally wakes up with all the memories of Murdoch. In the next scene, Murdoch reaches the subway in search of Shell Beach. He asks some people about directions to the place, but surprisingly, all of them have forgotten about it. Confused, he once again stares at the greeting card and finds the name Carl Harris written on it. The initials of the same name were inscribed on the suitcase back at the hotel. Later, Murdoch tracks down Carl's address and visits his home. The old man reminisces about the past, where Murdoch was a kid, but as expected, he doesn't remember any of it. Just then, he gets curious and asks Carl why it's always night, but the latter simply tells him to take some rest. After Murdoch goes to another room, Carl secretly calls Emma and informs her about Murdoch's arrival. She in turn tells Inspector Bumstead and proceeds to the location with him. But sadly, Mr. Hand, who has been tracking Emma using Murdoch's memories, overhears her entire conversation. When Murdoch finds out that Carl has revealed his location, he tries to escape the place, but it's too late. The strangers, led by Mr. Hand, have already arrived outside, and they start attacking Murdoch. However, using his extremely complex telekinetic powers and the will to survive, Murdoch continues evading them. He somehow manages to get onto the streets, but is again surrounded by the strangers. Just as he is about to be apprehended, Emma and the inspector arrive in their car and take him away. The scene then cuts to the police station, where Inspector Bumstead is interrogating Murdoch, as he believes that he is behind the murders. However, an agitated Murdoch flips the questions and instead asks the inspector if he remembers the way to Shell Beach. As expected, Bumstead does know the place, but even he cannot seem to recall the directions. Then, Murdoch asks him why they're always experiencing night and why they have no memories of the day. If they have no memories of it, how do they know it's a thing? He even makes a book levitate to prove his point that they are dealing with something supernatural. After a while, some strangers led by Mr. Hand enter the police station and start looking for Murdoch. They put all the officers to sleep and head to the cell. However, upon reaching it, they find that their target has already escaped. In the meantime, Murdoch confronts Dr. Schreiber at a bathhouse and demands answers. He wants to know what is going on in the city and why the strangers are after him. The doctor calms him down and reveals that they are all part of a grand experiment that the strangers are conducting. Just then, Inspector Bumstead arrives at the scene and takes control of the doctor. Here, it is revealed that the inspector himself released Murdoch out of custody, as he too wants to find answers. After that, the inspector and Murdoch force the doctor to lead them to Shell Beach. They get in a car and start their journey, but for some reason, the doctor keeps mentioning that going there is of no use. Shortly after, they reach a dead end as a bridge has mysteriously disappeared. Hence, the three decide to continue by boat. During the journey, Dr. Schreiber finally explains everything that is happening with the city. He reveals that the strangers are aliens from another planet, and they came to Earth after they almost faced extinction. When they saw the human population prospering, they immediately decided to emulate them. However, the problem was that they didn't have any souls, and that is what differentiates them from the humans. Adamant on saving their race, the strangers then created an entire city, abducted humans from different parts of the world, and placed them there. Every night at 12, they stop everyone and install new memories in them so that they can compare the different characteristics in humans. The plan is to know everything about the human soul and become just like them. Dr. Schreiber further mentions that he is the best psychologist in town, and this is why the strangers don't erase his memory every night. Murdoch then asks why it's always night, to which the doctor replies that the strangers are afraid of light, so they created a city where it's always dark. After a while, they arrive at Shell Beach, only to find that it's merely a poster on a wall. Enraged, Murdoch and Inspector Bumstead grab some iron bars and begin striking the wall. The doctor begs the duo to stop, but they don't listen. Eventually, they break the wall and are taken aback to find endless space on the other side. This confirms that the city is a mere experiment, and there will be no escaping it. Just then, Mr. Hand and his henchmen arrive at the scene with a captive Emma and threaten Murdoch to surrender. The inspector immediately retaliates, but he is thrown out into the abyss. Before he dies, he witnesses the city floating in space, which is surrounded by nothing but darkness. Here, we get to know that this city is just a huge spaceship. On the other hand, Mr. Hand uses Emma as leverage and eventually captures Murdoch. In the next scene, Murdoch is seen tied to a chair as the entire stranger community, that's right, the whole Bald Brigade, shouts for his death. However, their leader, Mr. Book, claims that he has other ideas. He summons Dr. Schreiber and asks him to inject Murdoch with an imprint, which will transfer his soul into all the strangers. Hesitantly, the doctor obliges, but instead of the imprint, he injects Murdoch with another syringe, one which contains all of his memories. As soon as it is administered, all of Murdoch's memories flash right in front of his eyes, and it is shown that he was indeed born in a place called Shell Beach. Because of the memories, he now understands the true nature of his power and becomes much stronger. In one of the memories, Dr. Schreiber appears and tells Murdoch to defeat the strangers and take control over the city. With this, he gets renewed hope and breaks free from his bondage. He then starts using his telekinetic powers to throw the strangers around until Mr. Book approaches him. Soon, the two start going hammer and tongs at each other, but they seem to be equally matched. Their fight destroys the entire compound, so they continue in the air. This time, Murdoch reigns supreme when he deflects Mr. Book's knife and throws it right back at him, finally killing him. After the victory, Murdoch approaches the doctor and asks about Emma, but the latter mentions that she has already lost her memory during the last tuning. Hearing this, Murdoch is devastated, but he has an idea to change everything. In the last scene, Murdoch uses his supreme telekinetic powers to reform the whole city. He adds an ocean all around, repairs the bridges, creates a Shell Beach, and most importantly, brings the sun back by rotating the spaceship. The movie ends as Murdoch heads to a pier near the ocean, where a newly transformed Emma is basking in the sun. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.